The Curious Case of Clara Watson. In the misty cobblestone town of Willowbrook, nestled between gentle green hills and a winding silver river, lived a bright, intrepid girl named Clara Watson. Clara was 10, with a keen mind and a spirited heart, forever eager for the next mystery. Her hero was none other than the legendary Sherlock Holmes, and from her garret window beneath a patchwork quilt, Clara dreamed of solving deductions, both big and small. Clara shared her adventures with her best friend and steadfast partner, Leo, a clever and loyal boy her age who lived just next door. Their friendship was the sort that felt like old slippers, comfortable, dependable, and ready for a sprint at any moment. Inside Clara's attic bedroom, a nook painted in cheerful blue and butter yellow, there was a dedicated corner for detective work. Tall shelves overflowed with mystery books, scraps of blueprints from past cases, and peculiar little mementos collected in the pursuit of truth. Resting nearby were her treasured detective tools, a well-loved magnifying glass, a battered but trusty notebook brimming with clues, and an antique compass she insisted brought her luck, even if it never quite pointed north. On one particular morning, just as the town's air shimmered with dew and the aroma of baking bread, Clara gazed out her window, daydreaming about unsolved crimes and hidden secrets. Suddenly, an unusual commotion broke the peace, a flurry of raised voices from the neighboring garden. Clara's heart jumped. That was Miss Agnes Plumtree's cottage, the gentle, ever-cheerful neighbor who wore the brightest shawls and baked the scrumptious pastries that made everyone's day just a bit sweeter. Miss Plumtree, expert in local legends and a great champion of Clara's investigations, lived alone now, ever since her niece moved away. Without a moment to lose, Clara slipped on her tweed coat, tucked her notebook and magnifying glass into a satchel, and hurried outside. She met Leo at the garden fence. He must have heard the excitement too, for he was already pulling on his woolen cap and clutching his own small notepad. "What's happened, Clara?" Leo whispered as they watched a small crowd gather at Miss Plumtree's gate. "I'm not sure yet, but we're about to find out," Clara replied, her brown eyes alight with curiosity. In the middle of the anxious assembly stood Miss Plumtree herself, her face, usually full of laughter, now etched with worry. Tiny hands wrung the edge of her favorite violet scarf. "Oh, Clara, Leo, thank goodness you're here," Miss Plumtree called as soon as she saw them. "It's dreadful. My grandmother's locket. It's disappeared. One moment it was resting on its velvet cushion in my parlor, next it was gone without a trace." The town's beloved locket was no ordinary piece. It was an heirloom, etched with whorls of roses and gleaming softly with mother of pearl. Clara, feeling the first electric thrill of the case, promised, "We'll leave no stone unturned, Miss Plumtree. We're on the case. Dash, dash, dash." Clara and Leo started with a methodical plan. "Let's interview the neighbors," Clara suggested, flipping open her notebook. Someone must have seen or heard something. They began with the Pritchards, who lived closest, their cottage wrapped in a tangle of honeysuckle. The elderly couple welcomed the young detectives with warm smiles, though both shook their heads after hearing about the theft. "We were tending to our vegetable garden all morning," Mr. Pritchard recalled, stroking his snowy beard. "Didn't see nor hear a thing amiss." Leo noted their alibi, and they moved on. Rather than endlessly repeat the same questions, Clara chose the next interview wisely. Timmy Fisher, a sprightly boy with an endless imagination and a perch on his garden swing across the street. "Hey Clara, Leo," Timmy greeted, eyes sparkling. "Are you after any runaway animals or bandits today?" "A missing locket this time," Clara replied with a grin. "Did you notice anything odd, Timmy?" Timmy's brow furrowed in effort, and then he nodded. "I saw a shadow go by Miss Plumtree's gate yesterday afternoon. It moved fast. Didn't look like someone from around here. They sort of limped, I think. But it was gone before I could even say hello." "That's important, Timmy. Thank you," Leo wrote furiously, and Clara marked the spot on her hand-drawn map. Instead of visiting every neighbor on every street, the duo decided to focus on leads that offered something new. Next, they went to the bakery, where Mrs. Lavender kept her eyes and ears open as she worked her dough. "I did see a stranger hurrying down the road just before sunset. Tall, cloaked, with a peculiar walk. Not a regular, I reckon," she shared as sugary scones baked behind her. An odd limping stranger seen near the time and place of the locket's disappearance. Clara and Leo pondered this as they nibbled the scones Mrs. Lavender insisted they take for brain power. At dusk, they strolled past the village green, where young Cassidy, chief of all pretend fairy hunters, was prowling for sprites. "Did you see anything odd yesterday, Cassidy?" Clara inquired. Cassidy shrugged, her butterfly net swishing. I heard funny creaks by the fountain and saw someone tall and shadowy hurry away. Might have been the wind, or maybe the ghost everyone says lives in the old willow. From each interview, Clara and Leo gathered a clearer sense of the timeline. Around sunset, a limping stranger, not a local, seen scurrying near Miss Plumtree's garden. And always hurrying, always in a rush, like someone with a secret to hide. Dash, dash, dash. Back at Miss Plumtree's kitchen, she received the detectives with warm cinnamon buns and hopeful eyes. Clara explained their findings. We're hunting for someone new to Willowbrook, someone with a limp, likely passing through. Miss Plumtree nodded thoughtfully. The only newcomers lately are travelers, artists, merchants, that sort of crowd. She paused, musing. Yesterday, a new visitor did call, a tailor from Port Whistle, offering repairs door to door. Odd, but kind. That name rang a bell. Clara thanked Miss Plumtree, and, later that evening, she and Leo decided the next step was the railway station, where Mr. Thistledown, the station master, kept his ledgers of comings and goings. Dash, dash, dash. The station was quiet, lanterns glowing amiably. Mr. Thistledown welcomed them, always pleased by the excitement of a new puzzle. Anyone arriving yesterday who stood out? Clara asked, describing the limping stranger. Let's see, the station master replied, leafing through the register. A traveling tailor, name of Cuthbert, arrived from Port Whistle. Lodging by the river in an old smithy shed. A man with, yes, a limp. He gave Clara a meaningful look. Friendly fellow, but a touch secretive. That clinched it. Clara thanked Mr. Thistledown, and with Leo at her side, set off toward the riverbank under a chorus of crickets and lavender dusk. Near the old shed they paused. Through a dusty window, they spied a tall figure hunched over a work table under the glow of a single lamp sewing kit spread before him. Clara braced herself. She rapped gently on the door. It creaked open to reveal Mr. Cuthbert, just as the clues had described. Travel-worn, dapper, with a limp and sharp eyes. Clara noticed, with a jolt, that one of his coat's mother-of-pearl buttons was missing, a match for a single button she'd found earlier in Miss Plumtree's garden. Clara introduced herself and Leo, explaining their search. Mr. Cuthbert listened, then sighed, sinking onto a wooden stool. He confessed quietly, I did admire your Miss Plumtree's locket, a thing of rare beauty. I mended her old velvet cushion and perhaps, when I adjusted my coat, a button fell. But I swear, I did not take the locket. Clara believed him, but pressed on. If you didn't take it, do you have any idea where it might have gone? Mr. Cuthbert hesitated, then pointed to a wooden chest beneath his table. I thought it strange this box was tucked in the shed corner when I arrived. I didn't open it. It wasn't mine. But you're welcome to look. With permission, Clara opened the box. Nestled inside, glinting softly in the lamplight, was Miss Plumtree's precious locket, still fastened to its faded ribbon. They gasped. It must have been dropped during some hasty movement yesterday, Clara realized aloud. Perhaps the limping stranger wasn't a thief after all, just a man in the wrong place at the wrong time, who lost a button as he worked. Mr. Cuthbert looked relieved. I'd never dream of taking what belongs to another. Dash, dash, dash. Clara and Leo hurried to Miss Plumtree's, the locket safe in Clara's palm. When they arrived, Miss Plumtree clasped the heirloom to her heart, her eyes shining with tears. The town's small suspense lifted into a breeze of relief. Oh, bless you both, she exclaimed, hugging Clara and Leo tightly. You have such keen eyes, such good hearts. Clara beamed. It helped to have Leo's sharp notes and a bit of kindness from everyone along the way. The real gift of a detective, she added, is never assuming, just following the clues and letting friends lend a hand. Miss Plumtree rewarded the young detectives with the warmest pastries and tokens of her gratitude. The relieved neighbors, hearing of the locket's safe return and the honest tailor's involvement, filled the air with a gentle hum of celebration. Dash, dash, dash. That night, as moonlight scattered across her attic floor, Clara nestled into her patchwork covers, the adventure still whirring gently in her mind. Leo snuggled nearby, already half asleep and smiling. Clara knew future mysteries would come, some as small as a missing key, some as grand as vanished heirlooms. But with loyal Leo at her side and a town full of neighbors who believed in her, Willowbrook would always be safe. As she drifted into sleep, Clara dreamed of swirling mists and hidden clues, her heart light and her mind ready for tomorrow's promise. For even the smallest sleuth in a quiet village could change the world, one gentle mystery at a time.